Jim about that?
What?
Yeah, I do all my broadcasting myself on my
You do?
desk.
Oh,
I have a small black camera over there and big cameras.
yeah.
60 some. Did we go up at the end? Oh.
Are we gonna go to different lights or something, right? Isn't that what you were here
So
for?
I'm not from Siemens. I'm
Oh.
from a different small business that has nothing to do with National Grid or Siemens.
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
not from the soups or anything like that.
No.
I'm from that smaller company and we haven't decided yet. All we're trying to do is figure out like what the best option is for you guys. I know you've had a million people come in here saying they're gonna save you money, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, we're gonna plan it out sooner, fix this. I know you, last time you had expressed a little concern about that. What I wanna do for you guys is not do a performance contract. I wanna let you guys decide what you wanna do with your money once you get your savings.
Oh, it's in my meeting. This is tonight's meeting. I want to see the RFP that went out to at least 4 people. No.
Was the auction that we had Monday, I see was successful. Now, are we gonna have that separate from a future auction? Because there was, Matt was talking about, we're getting ready for another auction.
That's the next year's foreclosure, that's the next group of people.
Oh, okay, that's what I mean, we're gonna have another one next year,
No, yeah, every time somebody's behind in taxes for 2 years,
right?
we'll have a foreclosure.
Well, that's good, I'm glad that, that's a good thing to know.
Want me to get up now?
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to order. Andrea is from Abbott. I wanna bring you all the men up to date on what they're doing as far as lighting and energy in the city of Amsterdam.
Okay,
Okay?
you got it.
Thank you, Andrea, go ahead.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself.
I'm Andrea Corsetti. I'm from Abbott Energy. Normally Dan comes up here, but he gets talking about numbers and stuff, and we get a little too into it. So I'm gonna just kind of briefly go through where we are and updates. And luckily this time we don't have that many updates. The tariffs are pretty much for a while there they were back and forth for a long time, and it was up in the air whether you guys were going to be able to buy out your own system, stick with National Grid. Now it's solidly stayed to the fact that we are able to stick with your contract. You're able to buy them through National Grid or buy them yourselves. You can buy everything except for the wooden poles. The wooden poles still are owned and maintained by National Grid.
Okay.
So,
Irene, you have any questions before we start?
I actually have a copy of the proposal.
You have any
If
questions?
any of the new aldermen would like to take a look at it. Councilwoman,
Yeah, okay.
would you like to take a look at it while we're going through? Okay.
You
Just
only
because-
have one copy?
Yes, they all already have copies, so I brought in. But I have a hard drive, so as soon as we leave, if I can get your emails, I'll email one to all of you.
I don't have email, I don't.
You didn't get one either?
Nope.
Oh, right, that's right. We talked in the back that
I'm a hard
day.
copy person, don't email me.
You want a hard copy? Okay, so what I'll do is, I have to see Rich Miller tomorrow. I'll drop you off a couple hard copies.
Thank you.
So I'll drop off hard copies for everybody tomorrow, but I do have enough copies of the updates for you. Okay, so basically what I wanted to say was that, all right, here we go. So we received options to replace the system from National Grid's LEDs and also options to purchase the system and install your own LEDs. We found the city-owned system to be a much larger savings and prepared to report showing that option. To do this, we used a FEMP analysis, which we got you guys a grant for $50,000 from NYSERDA for you guys to pay us. So that way you technically didn't have to pay us for it. We did the work
Okay.
and vouched that we were sure that it was going to come out right. So we assessed the original estimate was $2.4 million. The current buyout cost now has come down to $916,000. We argued with National Grid that the system wasn't up to date, that they had not maintained your system, and that at that point, they can't charge you that amount of money.
Can I make this a little easier?
Yeah.
Maybe, number one, we buy it, we own it.
Yep.
National Grid owns it now.
Right.
And what they've done is failed to live up to what they're
Yeah,
supposed
so
to do.
there's only one gentleman, his name is Joe Cologne, so we sat in a meeting with him, with Rich Miller, and I believe the mayor did not attend that meeting, but he was informed of this, and I have been calling personally for the last 3.5 years that I've been involved in this, trying to get this worked out with the Public Service Commission. And once they found out that you guys were able to purchase it, they tried to fix a few of the lights, but they
I don't
haven't
know
fixed any.
Who told them we were able to purchase them?
Oh, so the Public Service Commission came out with new tariffs stating that you guys are now able to purchase your own streetlights.
And therefore maintain them. If people break them, it's our responsibility.
So
it's National Grid. I'm just trying to catch up.
No, yeah, you're
So
fine.
if it sounds like an interrogation,
No,
I
God, no, I'm
apologize.
prepared for any question you have. Go
Okay.
right ahead.
So we buy it, we own it.
Yep.
We have to have a crew to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have a stock of whatever is in there to fix it. So we're assuming all the risk that National Grid has already got, true or false?
True. But,
Why would we do that?
well, because here's the thing, is that for that price, there's also, and Jimmy knows this, there's a control system that comes along for the price I gave you with the lights that will let us know if a light is going to go out. It's going to let us know at least a month in advance that light is going to fail and give our team enough time to get out there. The manufacturer themselves, we have a Philips fixture that we decided that we did like. Since there are new aldermen here and councilmen, you are more than welcome to take a peek at other fixtures. We decided that we thought that this was the best one. We've used them as in the parking lot. We did a demo. What you guys were using out there was way too bright, the company that came in and did the install out there. So we reduced your wattage, which saved you guys money, because we go by peak demand. So now you could work out a new arrangement with National Grid, even if we go over and you guys buy them. You're going to have to renegotiate with National Grid anyway because of those wooden poles. So what you could do is you could get the controls, hire a company, hire us, hire Siemens, whatever company you choose to work with, to come in and maintain those lights for you.
What about all the street lights that happen to be on state highways? Through the city of Amsterdam.
My major issue is I come about here once every 2 weeks, and I have video footage of driving down, going up the bridge, around the bridge, going right up towards Hill and Marks, and because we did Hill and Marks, and the traffic cam shows me a good light, and there are no lights there. I went down to where the Key Bank is, right downtown here, and I was actually followed by a man. I actually ran to my car, and a couple of my colleagues came to help me because there were no lights on that street on at all. Which you're paying for those lights. You're paying for every single light that's out. You pay, so whatever your highest demand was at one point, you're paying for that at all times. So that's kind of where it gets iffy, is that.
Well, but answer my question, who's
Yeah.
responsible?
So what we would like to be responsible.
And you are,
Abbott Energy.
which is a company that sells these things.
Yep. So
So
we don't
in
know. We
essence-
don't sell the lights. So we buy them from a manufacturer who gives you a 10-year warranty, and we offer a warranty as well on the labor for up to 2 years, and then we would work out a maintenance contract, which I guarantee would be much cheaper than your maintenance contract with National Grid. The numbers that we have worked out,
We have a maintenance contract?
yeah, of course. You pay for them to come out and fix anything. It's all in the literature that was worked out years ago.
Really?
Yeah, actually, let me grab this piece of paper here for you. I just want to show you some quick numbers here, if you don't mind me passing this over to you. Do you mind if I approach you? No, you don't have to get
I'll
up.
meet you halfway.
No, don't worry about it. So here is, I want to go over this with all of you. So, and I'm gonna get you all hard copies and send this in to you. Your streetlight assessment acquisition from National Grid, $916,000. That's the buyout.
Mhm.
Total number here is $3 million, and this includes taxes, $295,161. Okay, every day that you don't do this, you're losing $1,000 to National Grid.
There's an old saying I abide by. If it's
No,
not too good to
I'm
be true, it ain't.
You know what, and that's what I said, is that, that's why I want you guys to, we've gone over this, I know that Matt Agresta is one of the best controllers I've ever worked with. I worked with the city of Glens Falls. I've worked with Tom McCarthy. One of the big things was we worked with Tom McCarthy, and I know this is public record, so I don't want to say too many bad things, but
No.
he got pretty far along. We came in second place in the contract. He got too far along where when he signed with another company, the buyout for that, once he wanted to get out of the contract, it was too much money to get out of the contract. He just had to move forward with what he already chose to do. So that's why I urge you to look into other options. We've been very open from the start that we
Can
think
you
that we
give
should
me an
look at
original
other
copy
options.
of the contract with Niagara Mohawk also?
Yes, yeah, so I can get you a copy of that
Excuse
as
me,
well.
National Grid.
National Grid. I still, you want to know what? I still call them Niagara Mohawk from back in the day. So one of the smart street lighting, which I think is great, is now what happens is when your street light comes out, a resident can call, wait online. Anyone from here can call. The city engineer gets a lot of phone calls that the lights are out and has to deal with it. A car hits it and knocks it down, someone has to deal with it. We will know with these controls that the light's gonna fail. And if it gets knocked down, we have a 24-hour service that comes out for the first 2 years at no maintenance fee or anything. We come out and we fix them ourselves. Then we work out, we know that you're short-handed here with maintenance-wise. You guys, you have to plow, you have to do everything. We know that those are issues. So whether you hire us or a company in Amsterdam to maintain them, or you want us to work together, we're open to any option that you think would be a good idea.
Now, you understand, the object of it is we're trying to save money. That's what we're trying to do here. And it's cost us $1,000 a day.
Just over $1,000 a
Just
day.
over $1,000.
Yeah.
So the longer we keep on doing this, it's an expense that's unwarranted, I believe, and it's something that could be remedied. That's why I asked Andrea from Abbott Control to come in and talk to the aldermen again, all 5 of us, to make a presentation so we all understand what our issues are now.
Right.
Could you also give us a couple years of what we actually paid?
Yeah, so I'm working on
National
right
Grid.
now. I talked to Rich about a couple things. There's also a new thing. We did an EV charger station for you. We're working right now on your bridge lights. You guys, whoever did this back in the day, got the most expensive bridge lights. That they are the same lights that are down on Manhattan's bridge, down by the waterfront. So we did a lot of work. We got you guys another grant from National Grid. So, from NYSERDA. So we're working on that, and we're starting. The materials are on their way, and we're starting that very soon. We did a free EV charger station, and there's also another grant for like up to 4 more to go through the city, which is completely free, that we're going to be doing for you guys as well. Hopefully, if you decide you want to go through with that. We have checked on the usage, and it has been used quite frequently, and it's in kind of a small area, so I'm surprised it's used so often. But it was we actually came out of pocket that for you guys because I sort of said it was free, but we had a trench underground, which wasn't very cheap, so we did that one. But you guys have been great to us over the years. A few highlights is that the estimated annual savings is roughly $300,000 per year that you'll be saving on this. So.
And you've got pro formas, the whole nine
So
yards.
this is my thing, is I wanted to talk to you about this, is I know that you're being approached by Siemens, NYPA, other entities coming in and telling you that they can save this, and I think NYPA is good with the materials and the financing, but what they're doing is once you sign those contracts with those companies, you're locked in. There's no way that you're going to be able to, and we've also said that we are willing to partner with them if that's what you guys choose, because you feel that they're a bigger company, but you're locked in. You would have to buy yourselves out of that contract. With us, if you say, Abbott, we don't like what you're doing, you can fire us at any second. You're not binded to us by any form of contract. We're not going to, and my thing with performance contracts is, I know you guys have had a lot of things with the sewer, the wastewater treatment plants pop up. We've been involved with the city for about 10, 11 years now, and I like performance contracts in certain cases, but for you guys, the money that you're going to save, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You have a lot of historic buildings here. Number 1 priority on my list is not to come in here and change your windows, because there's a whole historical thing you have to go through. I would like to go through, do the upgrade, do the street lights, and then when something appears and something comes up, then use that savings that you're starting to see to go and fix things.
So I'll go back and answer my question.
Yeah.
There's performance by year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So you mean performance savings or performance contract?
No, performance of what it's going to cost, the maintenance, in other words, spell out for me.
Yeah, so on that sheet, what I gave you,
Yep.
that's all the numbers of everything that you're gonna save, and I gave you as much as I brief estimate right there on everything you're gonna save.
Anybody else have any questions?
I mean, tomorrow, if you would like, I could drop off all hard copies.
I would.
When I talked to Rich, he was assured, he thought that everybody had already had hard copies and drives of this. So,
Can I say something?
Well, not yet,
Okay.
not yet.
All right.
don't get me in trouble, you're always coming up after
Figure
me.
again, 900 and
So,
buyout figure.
did you see how much lower we got that down with National
Well, I was
Grid?
asking what it is currently.
So
900.
now it's down to, I believe 916,000 it was that we got it down to, 916,000, it was at 2.4 million.
Yeah, well, all right, I remember the.
So when we did that study, we went through the city and counted every single light. Just about a third of your lights are all out, and you're still paying for those. And no one's maintaining them. Joe Plone is one guy from National Grid, and he's just not maintaining the system.
No.
So I know your concerns are who's gonna maintain the system when we take it over, but we have a 24-hour team. I mean, so we just got a job with all of Citizens Bank. If something goes wrong, I have to have a team done in New York City within, I promise them 2 hours, 2.5 hours, as long as it takes to get there. Newburgh, anywhere.
What does the city need to do to,
So we've already did the study,
yeah,
the performance study. Right now, what we would need to do is, the next phase is to go and enter the contract here, which we would go to decide whether you would want to go SC1, SC2, SC3. SC3 is owned by the city, SC2. National Grid can still come in and swap them over to LEDs, and honestly, it would only cost you a couple $100,000. But you don't get the controls, you don't get the dimming capabilities. One of the things that we like is, an example is in Philadelphia, a jewelry store was about to be robbed, and they had this technology that I'm talking about, the smart city technology. And the cops joked because all they had to do was come in and sweep up the glass at the end of the day, because they turned up the lights as bright as they possibly could, and the guys ran away. So also we quoted you guys for a 7-pin, which I know that the city of Amsterdam is slowly building itself up with a great reputation, and the 7-pin allows for security cameras, hotspot. I know you see like on TV, like Domino's will deliver to mobile hotspots in parks and different places like that. You know, we're working with Robert Spagnola on the ball field to get him LEDs, as we are with Glens Falls, and so we're doing a lot of the installation for a lot of the other cities. Some of them are doing performance contracts, some are just going with NIPA and wiping out the entire performance contract. So what I want to do for you guys is I want to help save as much money as I can for you guys, and seeing you guys spend this much money and walking through and seeing how unsafe some of these streets are.
we would have to borrow the money to get this started.
So actually, this project
Yes.
is budget neutral, and we've almost got it to the point where it's budget negative. So you would be making money from the start of this job, the way Dan has the numbers worked out.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've got it, last time we spoke, it was budget neutral. Now it's to the point where it's basically budget negative. To me, I don't see why we haven't jumped on it
Put it
sooner.
on a piece of paper, show it to me,
Yeah,
please.
oh yeah, so we're gonna get this all for you. This is the, here, let me get it.
Now you'll know when the lights go out.
What?
You'll know when the lights go out.
So this, control
I
system.
hate having to call in traffic lights.
Right,
Or,
okay.
I mean, street lights.
Streetlights, it's the worst. I call for you guys all the time just because, like I said, I was testing to see how long it took them to get out here. We met with him, this man always, I'll
I still
remember.
have 3 out in my ward that are
Okay, so
problems.
this gentleman, Joe Plone, he always has time to stop and get his Mountain Dew. He's always carrying a Mountain Dew, that's how I remember him. I see him in National Grid meetings all the time.
But they don't go around and look.
He is the only person that does this entire area. Amsterdam, Glens Falls, Saratoga, there's one guy.
This is how it works. You make a phone call, you get a call. So you tell them, you have to call the mayor's office. Give them basically the light pole number, where it's located.
But it's a waste of time.
And, well, this is the process that we're
I know.
going through right now.
I agree.
then the
That's what I'm-
mayor
so this never-
We'll make a phone call, or Carol,
Yeah.
to National Grid, and they will tell us, we have one person in the area, which is the individual.
Sure.
And they go according to a rate list. Well, when we get to your area, then we'll do it. And like she said, and because I called on all those lights, every one of them on the ramp, I called in on. And even when there's a pole laying down, that a tractor trailer knocked down, that's our pole, that's laying there. And we are saying, am I right?
Yep.
We're seeing the power and the electricity for that light.
Those lights that are out in your ward, you're paying for
Those are all on the ramp, on the bridge.
Oh, the bridge was, I got, though, I don't.
No, I'm talking about in your ward,
Everywhere.
the peak demand.
Everywhere.
You pay for that
So I
because.
think, well, what do you think, David?
I need a whole
I know
pile of
you.
information.
I know a few of you are new, and that you want to see more on paper. So what I didn't want to do was every time we come in, we throw out a bunch of numbers, and everybody says, "Well, wait a minute, take a step back. You're throwing way too much information at us." So I wanted to come in and give a brief summary on what we want to do, and then we would like to come back with Dan, the engineer, who did all the studies on this job, with your permission, and sit down and go really into the numbers with you guys. And the control system that, for what you could have bought the light before the public service, which we worked very hard with Mike Torgo from the Public Service Commission, we helped come out with these tariffs. What you could have bought the light for, which I actually have over here, which is in the parking lot. We did these as a demo for you guys for free. We bought all those lights out there in the parking lot. If you leave, it's dark when you guys leave now, right? Hopefully it starts to get lighter sooner, but we did that demo for free out of pocket just to show you guys how much of a savings it was. And there's a couple different wattages out there so you can take a look at what you like. And there's no glare in the neighbors' homes. Where there's high, and I don't mean this in a defensive way, but where there's high crime areas, you can have them a little brighter with shields that has no extra cost. That way they're not going into people's homes. I know a lot of people are worried about that. Also, one of the big things is that with this controls, now you can buy it for the same price with the controls. Now this control, if I could show you, so I can have the company send it to me, and what I can do is, there could be a light. This is what sold me. There was a light in Sweden, and they said, watch this. And they went on the computer, and they said, they purposely tampered with the light so it would shut off. They showed that the light was starting to die. They went in, and the computer showed where it was. They had a technician out within a half an hour to fix that light. You know exactly before, and most times you can fix the light before it even goes out. And I know you can start allowing for cameras, and this is the one catch though. So if you do a fireworks show, you can't dim your lights now, anywhere. So we're doing the baseball field. So you can't dim those lights right now, but you will be able to. The only thing is right now, we are trying to fight the Public Service Commission and National Grid to allow, your demand to go down when you do dim lights, but they're tough on peak demand, just like they are with your home. However much power you use, it's what you use, that's what they charge you on. So you can dim those lights for shows. If you do certain events, you can dim the lights. Also, the smart city, if you want to go in and Google Philadelphia or the other one is Chicago, they have gunshot, all these systems that you put in there, they can detect gunshot sounds for the police officers. They can detect all different things nowadays. And I know it sounds crazy.
Well, the other we should do, this is a suggestion. I know Alderman Davis has a lot of questions, and there's a lot of new aldermen who have questions. But Paul and I heard this a couple times. If you can leave a card or information and they can get in touch with you with their questions, rather than keep on bringing you back and then go back, keep on going back and forth. We can have like an individual dialogue. Dave's got a lot of questions like that.
Oh, I'm having a pretty good go now right now with the state.
Right.
State
So that
route.
way,
Okay.
if you
I want to know those poles,
Yeah,
which are on a state route.
right.
Not my problem.
I know.
there are polls.
So anything that's
No,
not
they're not.
wooded,
They're state route. See, that's the go round I'm getting.
that's
I
the
hate
thing,
dealing
there's-
with these
there-
people.
It's really difficult. So we fought really hard for you guys because there was a lot, when we did the study, there was a lot of those main highways that were out, and they said that's the city's problem. And you know what your biggest problem is in the city? Is this goes back to when the mayor's father was actually in office, I believe. When they put the conduit and the wire underground for the original system, they're saying that you own the wire or you own the conduit, so we can't touch this unless you touch this. So they're trying to get you guys to come out of pocket however many thousands, millions of dollars in order to fix the wire, or they can fix a conduit. So legally, you can't touch this unless they touch that, and that's how it's going back and forth.
Right. Can you leave some information numbers, so?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, if I
And
can.
that way, if we can,
You
I
guys
prefer
are all
you just
actually.
email me everything. I
Yeah.
hate paper.
No. So you want emails?
Yes.
You
My email's
you like
listed
hard
online.
copies? Hard copies, because all your emails are actually listed, I think, on the
Yeah, mine are-
website, right? Yep.
Email.
Okay, so I can do that, and I'll get
okay?
everything.
And
Yep.
then that way, you can answer their questions.
Yeah.
And get back to them individually, and then
Okay.
we can call you back in.
Yeah, I
we
did
can
send a
review,
letter in on
and
Friday.
Go on like another step on this,
Yep.
okay?
Okay. All right.
Does everybody agree with that? Is
I
that
know
right?
it's a lot to take
I
in.
just want to
and-
be a royal pain in the butt.
No.
Give me
you're
a
not.
little summary, one page, what's transpired up to this point.
So you can do that right now.
I'm gonna give it to you right now.
Oh, see, we went through it, that's why, that's why I want her to come in, and I want her to give us to you.
Thank
That way you.
Now that's my notes, so don't judge me. Those are just my bullet points for the night. And then I'm gonna make copies for everybody and bring them in. But basically, what I want to say before I close it, because I know you guys have plenty of other things to discuss. That are
I got
very
one more
important.
question, Mr. John.
Right, well, over the years, one of the big expenses as far as lights has been concerned is Shuttlewood Park. We got a lot of ball games, the people play tennis there, but it's been on there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, we had some vandalism there. Now, if you put in new lights, you gotta look at certain
They're on
areas.
timers.
Huh?
They're on timers.
So
They're on
I'm
timers. Okay, well, still, they're on they're on 7 days a week though.
They're on a timer.
All right, they're on timers, but a lot of people look and see the amount of time that it's on there. No, in effect, there's no baseball. You got the, I doubt anybody's playing tennis or anything, yet the lights are on, which is very costly. So is there a way that we can
Sorry.
change this?
Yes, we can.
We can look at Shuttlewood Park and make a change where, we can save some money and maybe do things a little bit differently. Because a lot of people are looking at that park and saying,
No, John, that's something that.
Well, no, actually,
All right, go
if you don't
ahead.
mind me interrupting, Shuttleworth Park, because Dan's the one that is working on this, Dan Farrow,
Okay.
the engineer. That's the baseball field where
Right.
Amsterdam plays, right?
Mhm.
So we're doing right now, we just got them delivered, the city of Glens Falls couldn't afford LEDs. So we found a company in Chicago that could actually get them LEDs, they're gorgeous, like, Rob, can bring me a sample, I just got a sample in. So they referred us to Robert Spagnola. We've been working with him, Matt, I'm not sure if you know about this, but we've been working with Robert a lot for the field. So we found you guys some great LEDs. They're very cheap for half the cost. I know that NIPA quoted I'm just giving you an example for Glens Falls. Amsterdam plays sometimes at Glens Falls. So they quoted them $400,000. We did it for $109,000. And half of that was they got the NYSERDA grant that we got for you guys, so they threw that in there. But they had an issue with vandalism as well, and the lights are part of it as well, is that you can't prevent, I know sometimes the old wastewater treatment plant, people would hop the fence and stuff, and we did all the lights down the roadway there, and they said they haven't had any vandalism since we did that a few years ago as well. So I'm basically here, the main thing I wanted to say was if you guys want to go the performance contract route, we're willing to partner. I just think that it's best to, when sewer things happen or issues with the water pop up, I think it's best to have this money in your pocket to work with rather than coming up with a plan now, because you never know what's going to happen in your future. And that's what I think is the best route to go. So,
Thank you.
thank you for
Like
having
I
me.
said, if you could just leave the information.
Yep, and I'm going to leave everything. I'm going to
Okay.
grab some pens for everybody, and at the end of the meeting, I'll pass everything out because I sit and listen. Sorry.
Yeah, you can pass it
If you
right
don't
now, but
mind.
we're gonna go through our.
Yeah, you go. I like to listen to what's going on.
Okay.
Something sometimes
Okay,
I
just
just
to
pop
go
in.
over the agenda for this evening. If there are any questions, our controllers here. Okay, resolution 166, the minutes of the common council of the meeting. Questions? 167, amending the budget, fire. Hampshire Fire Department received payments from the insurance company for damages to truck one. And we are going to complete the repair of this truck. Questions?
Was the truck repaired already?
We're going to repair is it repaired?
I don't believe so.
Also, they're
Confirm
waiting
with
for the
Chief
money
Woody.
to repair it?
Yeah, they
What?
get the estimate from the insurance company for what it's gonna cost, then when we get the money, we normally would make the repairs after the fact.
Oh,
But you can clarify that with Chief Woody to be sure.
Okay, when he comes in, we'll ask. 168, transferring funds to the engineering department. Okay, cover the cost of vehicles issued from the enterprise. Matt, we are taking money just to cover the extra?
Well, we didn't have the second set of vehicles or which vehicles they were gonna get when the budget was adopted, so we didn't have enough money in there, not knowing whether it was gonna go forward or not.
Okay.
Do we have a list of all the vehicles that this resolution's covering?
Alderwoman Collins has a copy of all 14, or I'm not sure which, that we have. I think there were 7 in this round.
Alderwoman, okay.
Well, I got them, I just picked them up today, so.
Resolution 169, transferring funds by the controller, or a transfer needed to cover costs. This was the main emergency. We had a 4th of July, I believe, 2 years ago on the bridge. And it was a major damage. And, Matt, you can explain this. We have X amount of money, but there's so much money, there's so much part of this project that was not covered. That's why we have to cover it.
So this, we're talking about 169?
Yeah, that major water break we had on the bridge 2 years ago around 4th of July.
This one was actually for the sewer break. There was a
Sewer,
water and a
well, sewer, water and a sewer.
within a month or two of each other.
This is where they had a dig
Yes.
to,
Yes.
On the bridge, right next to the
It
bridge.
was an emergency repair, so obviously we wanted to get it fixed as quickly as possible.
Right.
This portion of that borrowing did not meet ESC requirements for use of American iron and steel. So for us to be able to keep the rest of the money that we had borrowed in short to long-term financing with EFC, which is almost $500,000, we have to pay this $62,000 by March 1st. What we can do after that is have a firm come in and replace the parts that are not AIS compliant, and that expense can be reimbursed or paid directly from EFC. So whether we choose to keep this in place and have to come up with $500,000 to pay back.
either way, you need the money.
They need it by March 1st, either way. But the plan would be to have the non-compliant parts taken out and the funding that EFC has available used to pay for that expense.
Any questions? Resolution 170. City engineer Richard Miller is authorized to go out for a bid for the Hans Creek roof replacement, which is funded by the 2018 budget. Now, Hans Creek, that's up in the water treatment plant. That's up in Glen. Alderman Collins?
Now, this is under bond,
Yep.
so I had asked for the information on it, and I haven't had an opportunity to go through it yet, but let me just ask Matt, is it listed here as Hans Creek roof?
I don't know, it might just be
Or is
water
it-
specific. I think it was 50,000. Watershed price is 118.
For 1920. Just to add more confusion. Is this funded or will it be? Because that's the way the resolution reads.
Well, it's being funded by the projects that we bonded for.
It is funded,
Yeah, there's-
not will be.
There's $50,000 in the borrowing that had already taken place for projects at
Can we make that a typo? Which is funded? Because we're really talking about 2018. We're in 1920.
Well, I mean, I think you could read it either way. I'm sure it's a minor adjustment there.
Well, it says will be.
But it is funded,
Well,
according to this,
I-
so it should be is funded.
I would say that's a typo.
Chief, Alderwoman Collins had a question on the vehicle repair. Chief Whitty?
Were the repairs done yet?
Done yet? No. No, for this most recent transfer?
Yes.
No.
The 7,000.
No, these are just the insurance checks that were submitted. Yeah, we had, 2 accidents in a row, actually.
171, mayor is authorized to enter an agreement with Northeast Classic Abstracting The mayor is authorized to enter agreement with North East Action for title search. And this is basically for the city's upcoming interim tax foreclosure.
Just go out to bid.
It did not go out to bid because I haven't been able to find, like, the KCS and those type are $25 to $30 more than this individual has been any time we try to hire someone to do searches for our foreclosures. Last time they were $125.
Who was?
Northeast, or KCS, and then there was another, I forget, the name escapes me, but there are two larger entities that couldn't come anywhere near the price that I was getting from this individual company.
So you did seek 3 people?
Yes.
The only thing, I had opportunity to work KCS.
I know, but
It's a
again,
local industry, and we're going, I think, to Galway.
yes, for probably $30 less per search at 350 searches.
Is there a difference in what they were going to do, what their performance is going to be?
Well, I get an Excel spreadsheet as well as copies of all of the deeds that are searched from this entity. I don't know, I've never asked any of the companies anything other than what would you charge per search for our foreclosure, and that's the price they gave.
This is for the title. Are the titles guaranteed?
What do you mean, are they? Yeah, she has to provide, I forget if it's $1 million or $2 million bond for any mistakes that may arise out of the work. Yes.
Okay, any other questions on that? All right, under consent, 173.
What do you guys want?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I have the audit. Well, all the bills and documentation are safe presented. Everything
Just sort of a curiosity, what do we pay CSX for at this road? Is
That's for a crossing.
maintenance?
It's for a crossing.
I mean, like, is that for right away or?
Yeah,
Oh,
the same that we have to do for Riverland Park.
all right.
I believe there's 3 of them. Over by Russo.
Well, yeah, right.
Riverling Park and down by the wastewater treatment. Is it 5,000 each?
It's a little more, it's like 7,000.
Okay. Okay, is that each or for all 3?
No, I think Rob was 4 or 5 in his own house, where it was previously.
Okay, under consent resolution 173. Properties taken from the city of Oxford for foreclosure. And I congratulate you, Matt, College City Auction, on a job well done. And what we have in front of us is a resolution of the properties and the people who bought them. You want to take a minute to take a look and see who bought them and
What
have
does
any
NOV
questions?
stand for?
Who?
NOV?
Notice of violation.
Yeah, these are violations on the house. We give them notice before they buy it, so they know what is wrong with these houses.
Well, I think we'll have an
Also-
executive session to discuss each of them before you guys vote on this one.
I was
Yeah.
just about to
Yeah,
say,
I see a couple of questions.
Well, that's why I'm bringing the resolution up. Do you have any questions? Go right ahead.
no, I have 2.
All right, you have-
I'll let you.
I don't know, how do we do this? What's the parliamentary procedure?
Normally, at some point in the meeting, we go into executive session to discuss.
Yeah, but we have to put it on the meeting agenda.
Yep. So-
Okay, that's a separate vote. My mind just clicked in. Okay, got it.
So we'll go through the list after.
Well, in executive session, we'll go through.
Put it on the agenda and then,
See, it's on the agenda, and it's just the people's names in here. We go to executive session, and then we go through the format of how we award these individuals. Are they slumlords?
stop right there.
Are they people who are in rear of property already owned? Okay? And those are a couple of criteria we use. Now, if the auction company and Matt have information, for example, they have fronts, beards, people who bid for them, and we have ways of finding out that it's not their property, they're bidding, somebody else is bidding for them, and they are,
I got it.
you got it?
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's why you asked the question, so I want to explain it to all of you. That's the criteria we use. So before we, that's why I say, take a look. If you notice anybody or anything, or anybody on here, we'll go through this, and then we'll discuss it, and we'll make an amendment to this resolution to remove the name, okay? And then we go to what, the second bidder, or anybody else that's interested? And we have an option to go to anybody you want. You can go to property disposition, you can ask who the second bidder is. That's why we're here, we make the final decision.
Matt, do you have second bidder on some of these?
Auction.
Yes,
I mean on all of them.
There were 2 or 3 that had no second bidder, but those were like vacant lots that someone bid $100 for.
Anyone else have any questions on this resolution?
At the public hearing and at the regular meeting again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you got a question? Go ahead.
Well, I don't really have a question. Sorry to interrupt you guys,
you're not
but
interrupting.
I'm sorry the way I look. I just got done
No, we
working.
all look like this.
I bought houses in the last auction,
Yeah.
and they were denied, and I rebought them at this auction again. But in the meantime, I did prove that I wasn't somebody that, you guys thought I was, who was behind on taxes and everything else. I worked for him, but that's it. I believe you guys thought that my name was on his.
Are you on here?
Yes.
Tell me your name, are you on here?
Yes, John Spiak.
John Spiak, okay.
Yep. And the last time I came here, which was a few months ago, I brought in his paperwork stating that he was the only one on the LLC, which was WJ&J Properties. And I just want to make note that I was buying these for myself, not for him.
So John, I don't have to ask you your oath or anything, but you're buying these properties for yourself, right?
Yes.
I can hold you to that?
What's that?
I can trust you for that?
I'll even sign a
No, I
paper
don't
if you want me
trust
to,
you.
yes.
Huh?
Yes, you can trust me.
Okay, that's all.
And like I said, if you,
That's
I said that at the
all
last
I-
meeting, if you need me to sign something saying that I'm not gonna transfer it to anybody else, him or anybody else for 5 or 10 years, I have no problem signing something like that.
I thank you for telling us that, John.
Okay? Sorry to interrupt you guys,
No,
but I
you're
just didn't
right.
want
That's
to.
information that we need to know rather than go through this and.
That's the kind of buyer we actually like, who's gonna, or I like, but
Mhm.
I won't say we.
Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Anybody have any other questions on the agenda tonight you want to discuss? Anyone? All right, this meeting's closed. Okay, now we also have, I believe, we're going to vote, clerk, on the local law. Next week? Is the public hearing tonight? No, we're not early, it's just, we have any other questions? Any other, anybody else want to discuss anything else, need to know? Well, I could bring up one thing also while we're here. The engineer gave me a wish list, okay? So we can just go over this and, yes, I like to discuss it with him because I need to know on a wish list where the money's coming from, all right?
Did you read my list?
I read your list, no.
I'll be easy.
So on this letter we received February 13th, from them, we have all different types of, like for example, reconstruction of Church Street, all right? Cost of the project is 1.9, do we have that money? Bridge New York program, primary reversible project, it's a local match of 115,000. I mean, these are all, this is why we need him in here, unless Matt, you could know about a lot of these, you do. Much of this money is already we have, we need to borrow one.
There's I'll get them up there, on the bottom, that's why we've got to go out for.
Reconstruction of Church Street is a grant reimbursable project for $1.9 million. So we would have to borrow that money and get it back. Bridge New York is for a $3 million program, which is reimbursable. We do have the $115,000 match, but that would need to be borrowed.
That would need to be borrowed.
The lead water service replacement is reimbursable, also needs to be borrowed in advance.
Now keep in mind, if it's water budget,
The
sewer,
disinfection system, we have some money for, but would need to borrow for the difference of the cost.
right?
Road program, same thing.
Reimbursable. We have to, I know that. We have to fund that first, and then we get that reimbursed totally.
The rest of these are, well, the Dove Creek is reimbursable. We had borrowed a portion of that.
About the air handlers.
Now, we had borrowed 2016, 350,000, which repaired 5 of them, and there are 5 more that need to be repaired. The consent order, that would be one you'd have to check with the engineer on. I'm not sure. Demolition of buildings, I mean, we currently have a little over 400,000 that we had previously borrowed for demolition of.
Okay, now this is important, the consent order, because you have to do consent orders.
Yes.
What is this for?
I don't know.
You don't-
It could be water, sewer, not enough information.
Now, the one I'm
Just
interested
we have
in,
a few.
the one I'm interested in is the demolition of buildings. This is a straight expenditure program. Funds for the year are 5, how much do we have, you know?
We have a little over 400,000 right now.
Okay, now, this is what bothered me. We had 400,000, how long have we had that in the budget?
That was borrowed in 2018, and I believe there have gone or are going out to bid with a list of properties to get those, as many as they can tomorrow.
Okay, very good.
In
That,
conjunction with the land bank.
Patrick, do you remember, are you DPW chairman?
Yes.
Okay. I would like you to get on to Mr. Miller and get this moving forward. Okay? This demolition of properties, because this has been on hold now, for almost over a year. So he has the money, so let's move it. I know every time there's an emergency, that gets done quick. But this is always on hold, so I'd like to get this moving. If you could forward this to him, okay?
I have a comment on this. I spoke to him, he wanted to bring the list forward, but we have that building on Main Street that is an emergency, and I wanted to find out where we're gonna get the money to tear that one down.
Okay, and the last time, when's the last time he was here? Mr. Miller? Right, well, you're not sure, neither am I, because he came here, he made a statement, and that was it. This is, then, like I'm saying right now, this is a statement also.
So have we gotten any information on Main Street? I know,
I have,
I think it was,
Didn't you guys authorize money for a study of what needed to be done?
Yes.
I'm sure we need to wait for that. Where it stands at this point, I do not know. I had no involvement. but I
Wasn't
would
that
hope Rich
supposed to
will.
be the IDA looking into it?
no,
no, Rich had,
no, we.
It's our
we
building.
hired someone to
No, we hired,
do the
because now
study.
we hired the engineer, the one that's gonna have to,
Not
Yeah,
to
okay.
exceed 10,000.
not to exceed
Right.
because of the. But I would like to move forward on this demolition of buildings, okay? Thank you, Alderman. And the last, the Dove Creek replacement program. This is the reimbursement. Cost of the program is 1.2 million. Currently funded at $500,000 for previous capital projects.
I don't know why we would need more if this is gonna be a phased program. If we do $500,000 worth of work, get reimbursed, have another $500,000 to move on with the next part of the plan. So I don't know that that one really should even be on there, in my opinion.
And my last question is this. This last,
Same area.
it's the creek, you know where, okay, let's go down to High Park Avenue. And then you got Steadwell. Walk about 20 feet, there's a little creek that goes under the road. Right? That's Dove Creek. We had money for this in the previous administration, but somehow it was squandered.
Man, I won't hold your feet or anybody's feet to the fire. The way I read this, you've got to borrow and then you get reimbursed. So it's borrowing no matter what, except for
Whoever says.
about $1,050,000 that you need to come up with that cash to do those projects. So out of the 8 million, roughly 7 million is going to get reimbursed. You got to borrow, but you get reimbursed. The balance we have to come up with, which is about $1.1 million.
Which is good, is because the amount that we're funding, or where we're borrowing this is in the water and sewer, where we have money.
Yeah, well, I can just tell you that borrowing of this size or near it is gonna be difficult for us.
That's why we have to know what project our priority. All right, any other questions we have? We are quickly approaching public hearing. All right, thank you for going over with us, everybody, thank you, appreciate it. That out of the way, we got the order of business out of the way, got Abbott Control taken care of. I have no idea what that is. We have this, and let's see what else we got. Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate your cooperation. Thank you.
Is the mayor gonna make it tonight? He wasn't at the last meeting.
He hasn't called, but he hasn't texted. Oh, yeah. Did you know?
We might have to south side, because my neighbor passed away. They took condo. He's got that. I got about 2 hours. Like 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I thought I was gonna move.
I got a pill, that's why.
But then I don't know, it was Sunday, they had that.
I don't think they're doing it. Glad you were here.
Thank you.
I thought was going like that, so then I thought, I said, heck with it. But if I did get sent there, I was gonna go over and Abbott. Yeah.
Well, you got in New Madrid? Where you got in New Madrid related? Oh, yeah? That's all, yeah, it's the Paul's driveway.
School says, I'm not going to.
Oh, yeah?
are not really
All right.
acceptable, but
Good.
some guys have like good job, and that's completely fine.
Yeah.
Completely fine.
Yeah.
Yes, it says nothing.
I don't see it.
This is the attached list that was originally for us.
You got the W9 right?
Something.
And that is the name, A.A. Park, right?
Dave, when are people gonna start announcing that their intentions for running? I understand February, the last week of February into March, they changed it for getting the petitions. So I was kinda wondering, I know the Republican Party put like a little ad, or they mentioned in the paper. And I was just wondering, hopefully the Democrats know what they're, what's going on.
Maybe I'll find out this week, I don't know.
Sorry, no, you're fine. I didn't No, I mean, I like putting everything here. A public hearing.
All right, public hearing. Gary, other side, please.
So we have a public hearing on local law A of 2019 to be known as local law 1 of 2019 if adopted at the next meeting, and local law B of 2019 to be known as local law 2 of 2019 if adopted. These both have to do with the animal, chapter 73 of animals. This is in regards to changing the years of the license for dog licensing, and various changes to chapter 73 animals.
Does anyone in the public have any questions? Would you like to ask the clerk? No. Anyone else? Okay.
Closed.
Opposed? Is that with A or is that with both of them? So is that for public hearing local 8 or?
Those are both amendments.
Both out on both? Okay. That's it? Okay, thank you.
Are the licenses enough? Are we paying enough for licenses? Are the licenses enough, Jim? The price of the licenses for dogs and like that. Is the price reasonable? Are we getting what we're supposed to be getting?
I believe.
It's the same as we were doing before. We were just changing from 1 to 3 years.
Yeah.
You could
Okay, but
get
I mean,
1 or 3 year.
Yeah, I was just wondering, but the license itself, is it, what's the money, what do you have to pay for the dog's
Over
license?
$15.
It's
Part of it's a state
$10.
fee.
The
Yeah.
city clerk will answer that.
It's $10 if the dog is spayed or neutered, and $15 if the dog is not spayed or neutered.
And we think that, and that's comparable to other areas in the area, around?
That was changed, like,
It's actually less, I believe, is what Gina told us last time. Than other areas.
depends. Some of the smaller municipalities have
No.
smaller.
Well, if it's less, then shouldn't we increase that?
That was
then?
increased fairly recently. It was probably within the last 10 years it was increased. It would used to be, I think, 8 and, can't remember what it was exactly, but it was increased.
Raise taxes, John. You want to raise taxes?
Chief, where are we with the
I don't want
fire
to get shortchanged.
I have another meeting with Pierce, we're bringing their, regional sales guy up to tell us again, just fine tune what we need to have on this course, so I can give us a price quote. He's reluctant to quote anything, just, I'm in another meeting with this guy.
Value's already known. What is it negotiation? And then another but if they're talking about they're saying the biggest thing their
I understand why you do it because my parents
Mayor, how you doing?
Good. Yeah. Oh yeah. They have a premium if it's like it's pure brand.
they do here, yeah. But if they said they've never had anybody else that they can even think of.
Right. Nobody's really.
Because basically they're like,
it's like vanity.
yeah, well, the person would want it, like, certified or
Yeah,
whatever.
they want to put it.
Otherwise,
Certified.
Yeah.
I was kind of teasing it because it's kind of a tax increase. I was just teasing you because it's a tax, you know. Everything you pay to the government's a tax, right?
Oh, right. Well, I don't have a dog anyway.
Oh,
so I'm not, I just want to know. Sometimes they bring things up, stop signs or something.
I heard they used a lot of gasoline to get my drift.
Six.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alderman Russo.
Here.
Alderman Ockel.
Here.
Alderman Collins. Here. Alderman Davis.
Present.
Alderman Marticello.
Here.
So we have to amend tonight's agenda to add consent resolution 173. Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello. Alderman Russo.
Aye.
Alderman Ockel.
Aye.
Alderman Collins.
Aye.
Agenda as amended, Alderman Davis.
Aye.
Alderman Marticello.
Aye.
Alderman Russo.
Aye.
Alderman Ockel.
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins.
Anyone in the public wishes to be heard?
John Archett with 12/18 Austin Street. Mayor, yesterday I saw on Channel 10, they were talking about ambulance problems in our area. They said Gavac, for instance, it costs $367 just for the ambulance to leave the garage. Now, I had asked before that we should have a monthly report about how the ambulance's situation is in Amsterdam, New York. And I think that's pretty reasonable under the circumstances that we get this. I think that, the couple of aldermen that are no longer in office, a lot of us still remember about the 75% of the vote, that we wanted to keep it separate. It still may be a good thing, but I think we have a right to know, especially with, we have an $8 million deficit, if that's correct, to see how the ambulance situation is doing monthly. I don't think that's much too far-fetched. We should be able to get a monthly report on this. That's one thing. Another thing is, Mayor, between the Riverlink Park and the golf course, the city seems to be in a restaurant business. At the golf course, some of the pipes had broken over there. You should be able to watch that building a little bit more than what they're doing, and people have to be held accountable. I own a home. I check my house every day. This is important to check the pipes at this restaurant. Another thing is, Irene, I'm glad you brought up about the Riverlink Park at the last Common Council meeting. Even though I was left, I saw what you had said. A canopy. If somebody's going to rent the restaurant at the Riverlink Park, let them take care of the canopy. I mean, why, with all the problems that the city has, we should not be worrying about these restaurants.
Excuse me, John, you're mixing up the tent with the canopy. The canopy is a cover that goes over the restaurant.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's
So
part of the building.
yeah. But we have a person running that restaurant? Do we not? Doesn't that go out for bid?
One more year of the contract. This is it.
Okay, well, that's what I believe the practice was, that it went out for bid. So if it goes out for bid, then the person who gets a bid, let them worry about the canopy. And let us go on with other things that are probably more important than this. And other things, I mentioned about this property before on 452 Locust Avenue. We're supposed to be out in the courts or so. And evidently, Jim, at the last meeting, I mentioned this. I thought it said in the paper something about we were supposed to get money to help try to fix up some of these people who live in these homes. That's property. Like I said, there's no porches on it. The roof is real bad. Can we consider helping these people out? And get that building fixed up. I was glad that evidently the auction that we just had Monday was successful. And I'm glad that the city keeps up with this in the future, and that's what we got to do. When people can't pay their taxes, and we have to foreclose, we're going to have an auction, and I'm glad over the years the auctions have been successful, and this administration has done a top job as far as the auctions are concerned.
Which color house is that on Locust?
What?
Which color house is that on Locust?
Well, from my vantage, it looks like kind of light green. Some people thought it was yellow, but when I look at it, it kind of looks like light green. You can't miss it, Pat, because there's no porches. There's no porches there, and the roof is. You got all the pigeons and stuff going up.
I drove by the
roof.
other day. I was looking for it.
Yeah.
I'll go drive by again.
452. It's 452, 454. It's a two-family home.
It's in a court, so.
John, you realize these people have to apply. They have to come.
Well, okay, maybe they don't know about it, and once in a while, we should try to help some people who don't get the paper or don't care who their alderman is or whatever. We have people that live in the city who don't know that, but we shouldn't have to be living. In other words, if I keep up with my house and other people's do also, that people who aren't paying. You can tell people to get out of their home for not paying their taxes. You should be able to do the same thing for people who aren't paying for the upkeep of their home.
John, remember that house on Locust Avenue you approached me with? It was abandoned. Remember that one?
Well, there
And
was
now
one.
somebody bought it, and.
Yeah, 427,
How's it look?
429.
How
It
does
looks
it look?
great because he's got siding he's put on there,
Did you wanna
new
say-
windows.
Did you wanna say that tonight?
Of how nice the house looks?
Yeah.
Well,
Go right ahead,
I could say that it does, it looks fantastic. But when you have the auctions, Jim, there's some people who buy the, and then they have trouble later on. The job is too much, but this guy did a great job with the siding. He's doing a lot of work in the inside. Obviously, I don't know how things are in the inside, but with the new windows, it looks great. But it goes to show.
Let's get ready to rent it out.
It goes to show, but some of these other people have nice cars and they have money for other things, they should be able to fix up their home. So 452, try to help them people out, and, cause, and that's the way it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Anyone else? Okay. Controller?
Any questions? We had the secondary auction yesterday. All 25 properties had bidders for them. If everybody does come in and pay, assuming everybody is approved, it would bring in $141,500, a portion of which will go to the county for their share of the taxes that were outstanding. So until we know exactly who comes in and pays, who's approved, I won't be able to give you an exact breakdown between what we're gonna see out of that versus what the county is going to. But as soon as I have that available, I will certainly provide it to you.
Thank you,
I don't have much other than that in terms of anything new that we didn't talk about at the first meeting, so if nobody has any questions.
Dave?
Just to get back, when I stopped by and filled you guys in what happened with our meeting up in Fonda, the mayor was there. Has any of that started to?
Well, being that I wasn't actually invited to that meeting, we went out and met with Sean today to figure out exactly.
You were on that mailing list, they said, so.
I looked, I didn't have any emails
Had to
from,
be, because they were upset you weren't there.
well, I would have liked to be there, it's kind of an important thing, given what we're talking
That's
about.
why I took some
Yeah.
time out
Yeah.
and kind of
But,
sat and explained what.
It was a good meeting.
Yes.
Yeah,
A good starting point.
we have I think we have exactly what we need in place going forward, but now we want to start to go backwards and make sure we reconcile correctly.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Resolution 166, resolution adopting as the last common council meeting by Alderman Marticello.
So moved.
Any discussion? Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderman Collins? Alderman Diamond?
Aye.
Resolution 167, resolution amending budget for fire by Alderman Ockel. Whereas the Amsterdam Fire Department has received payments from the insurance company for damages to truck R1, resolve the controller is authorized to amend the 2018-2019 budget to complete the repair to truck 1 as follows.
So moved.
Any discussion? Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins? Alderman Divas?
Aye.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Resolution 168, resolution transferring funds for engineering by Alderman Russo. Resolve the controller is authorized to transfer funds from the 2018-2019 budget to cover the cost of vehicles leased from Enterprise. Any discussion?
Call the roll.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderman Collins? Alderman Divas?
Aye.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Resolution 169, resolution transferring funds for controller by Mayor Bill. There is a transfer of funds needed to cover the cost of emergency sewer repairs that were not American Iron and Steel compliant to Environmental Facilities Corporation.
So
Resolved.
moved.
Do you want me to speak on this?
We talked about it in committee.
Okay. All right.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderman Collins? Alderman Divas?
Aye.
Resolution 170, resolution authorizing bid for engineering by Alderwoman Collins. Resolve the city engineer, Richard Miller, is authorized to go out for bid for the Hans Creek roof replacement, which is funded by the 2018 bonded project. Any discussion? Alderman Collins?
Aye.
Alderman Davis?
Aye.
Alderman Marticello? Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Alderman Ockel? Resolution 171, resolution authorizing agreement with any classic abstracting by Mayor Villa. Resolve, the mayor is authorized to enter into agreement with NE Classic Abstracting for the title search work related to the City of Amsterdam's upcoming in-run tax foreclosure in the amount of $90 per search.
So moved.
Any discussion? Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderman Collins? Is that aye? Okay. Alderman Davis?
Aye.
Resolution 172, resolution improvement audit by Alderman Ockel. Any discussion? Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins? Aye. Alderman Davis?
Aye.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
At this point, Mayor, we make a motion, we go into executive session to discuss Resolution 173, to go over the property owners who are listed on this resolution.
We also have to discuss issues of litigation.
Litigation? Call it up.
Alderman Marticello?
Aye.
Alderman Russo?
Aye.
Alderman Ockel?
Aye.
Alderwoman Collins? Alderman Davis?
Aye.
When we come out of executive session, then we will vote on the sale of these properties.
How does the sale of these properties fall under executive session?
We're discussing
Conditions of sale.
What do you got?
Bringing up
I got
the actual contract, right?
the names of people.
right,
And names.
Aye.
names of people and maybe their past practice of whether they are.
So you're gonna have to discuss certain individuals and their,
Right.
and their past practice with the city.
Right.
That's, well,
Bill, would there not be a contract between the city and a buyer for this property?
No, I don't know. What do you mean a contract?
The agreement that each of them signed, the contract of sale,
Yeah.
we're gonna authorize the sale to them. I don't know how that wouldn't be considered a contract. They pay money and we give them a property.
Yeah.
I guess the question is it okay and legal so we go to executive session to satisfy the press?
Well, I think you got a basis for going into executive session. We've done it before for the same reason. And I don't believe there were objections then.
well, I was objecting now.
Are you negotiating anything? I mean, that's really what the open meeting law covers, is negotiations, correct? Negotiations would
Yeah, we're
affect
not.
the price.
No, I don't believe we're negotiating. What we're doing is we're simply looking at people's offers to buy and look at their history with in payments, or for payments in the city. Am I right?
Yes.
Which is public knowledge, though, which is public information.
Yeah.
So why don't we just refer the properties to property disposition? and-
No.
No, that's only if we're selling them outright ourselves.
Well, unless you have
You want me to call on you? Well,
Okay. To me, as I understand what's going to be discussed, is merely some fact finding that will make.
But are you gonna say, for example, Mr. So-and-so didn't pay his taxes, or
Right.
Mr. So-and-so didn't?
It's a fact finding
Okay.
But
to see if the individual who has put a legitimate deposit, whatever had to be done to purchase the property, can fulfill what he says or she says that individual is gonna do.
Right, but you, in the course of doing this, you're gonna discuss a person's particular payments or history with the city. You're gonna name
Exactly.
who they are, what they didn't do.
Exactly.
and
I mean,
code
it could be an
violations,
invasion of privacy.
I mean, code violations, are they, when they're cited, is that public record?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, you can foil, if you're not the owner or the owner, you can foil for that information.
I mean, that's what I think.
What is the urgency on this? What time stamp do we have?
Well, unless somebody, I don't have any problem with anybody, unless you want to make unless.
People have from February 21st through March 4th to pay.
Can we
So-
extend March 4th?
I don't want to because I want to get these sold and off of our plate. since we're right now in the middle of starting the next one?
Well, then you have to make a decision whether you're gonna go into executive session or you're gonna discuss it openly.
Well, I think
I
Bill
think
is
you can go
saying
into
we have
executive
to.
session, okay? I mean, that's what I think.
We have to for a separate matter on litigation,
Right,
correct?
that's, yeah,
So,
definitely.
at least go do that. But Bill said we can do it.
Let's make a motion on executive session for litigation. Okay,
Just that.
just for litigation, we're gonna go for litigation on it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And, mic's off.
Everything's off. You're clear.